Alright, so let's start over, shall we? Thank you, Lieutenant, I do believe. I don't know if you're a first lieutenant or a second lieutenant. I think first lieutenants are silver and second lieutenants are gold. Or the second lieutenant's gold and the first lieutenant's silver. It's one of those way or the others. It's hard to tell from this here. I'm sure he tells us in the beginning, but let's continue. Let's assume that the good lieutenant here, commanding officer, captain, whatever he may be, no offense, sir. Certainly shiny, I appreciate it. 1-to-1 over here. Inside here, when I'm talking about these kinds of mass gaps between stations, this was what I did. I would mark floor positions, I would mark maintenance rotations, I would mark what are common reciprocals, timelines for drilling processes of thicknesses of rock or lengths of rocks, what's it take for a single bit turn, what's it take to do those things. So firstly, understand at this point in time we are all over the road. That matrix becomes a very clean Jacobian matrix. Much like there's a way to program the saw, there's a way to program that Jacobian matrix, what'll basically be M1, M2, and Mn. When you're going about it, that's more of the lieutenant's versions of this stuff because it takes a little bit more time and practice away from the development of the actual field techniques around town, figuring out a landscaper's map, right? In the landscaping game, these things right here are going to be absolutely critical for somebody to understand it. And if I was the boss, why would I maybe want to give that to an employee? Test them on things, take that reciprocal on the bottom of it. Make sure my company, make sure it's more than just a stone mill or a McDonald's, damn it. A landscaper's job. A manscaper, what are you going to need to do this stuff? It's going to come up a lot in life. Make sure you're giving that to your crew and just treating them like retards. And yeah, I am saying that to you because in my eyes, when I put that term down next to your investors, how do you think they're going to play it when it's this simple and easy? Okay, so back this stuff up with your daily rotation. It's just not this stuff. It's a 24-hour day, not just an 8-hour day or a 10-hour day, or whatever that is. Between here and here, yes, you will find Gust and Stone what to do. You got to get up at 3:30 in the morning and get rolling, get up, get the coffee going, so you have an hour to get around and going in the morning. That was not standing. I'm actually moving. I'm some electron through the course and the path of this stone mill all day over at Guston's here, for an example. Here I'm doing many of them. If you'd like them to be a long-term career function for your company, you're going to need to cover different Inglings angles of different operations from what you do. And here being the guillotine and the rock bay over there at Guston's are just a few of the ideas. I've certainly done this with tread lines. I've certainly done this with landscaper sites for hardscape. Right? You got to be able to take this coping rock right down to the stone wall that it's going to and the shipping line. Inside here, then, hey, when it comes to, hey, in town, hey, I give a guy a reference. They come around. Hey, whether I liked them or not, and it got sideways, the stories. For whatever reason inside here, at least I can quantify that, yeah, when you hire them in, they're going to be a master mason for you, and that's what that is. Why would I want to do that? Shit, it's a guy in town, another company. You don't want to destabilize the fucking town now, do you? Especially when we have that town in hand. You got to have these for every business in town. How many employees they have? What am I working with? What am I going to deal with when I have a probation, a parole, or somebody rolling in here with high criteria? How do I separate that? I should be able to list the pays of every single employee of those companies, and the work should reflect that. I should understand the gap in the differential of skills and trainings, which I will make you take, that you will have to know and recite verbatim NCO Credo before you pass these gates. Right? It's simple. It's useful in that form. We can describe the land nav and how to deal with skid steer checks and equipment checks, maintenance logs. What are their specific ones? You should be able to Gene Gray this thing as a kid. Take that thing apart and tear apart every bolt on the system. Know where every one of those L brackets is located in the shop. How long? What are the costs on those things? Those are inventories for a cycle. It may not be your specific job, but it's nice when you have a secondary that was like, hell, are you trained to run with that equipment there, Dave? Well, shaking hands with danger over here. I can hop in that and do that because now I have something that is basically trained. No, it doesn't necessarily determine away from all the skills that they'll need to do, nor guarantee that they won't have accidents or incidents, But at least I could say, hey, I separated it from what was left. Just nothing blindfolded. If you can't get these, it's something I can do. You can hire me, give me a call on a commission. I'll talk about, when I look at your company, how muddy it is, what's the deal over there, about what the cleanup on this is going to be right off the hop. So if it's not too bad, that's not too bad. We start factoring accordingly. Usually, well, we'll talk about it when I get there. How about that? Just give imaginary numbers around here. Like I said, imaginary, irrational. This in its one way is rational, but n1/2 says it's still 0. Very irrational. You, whoever that is going to have to make that determination in what this is here. Now, what page we go on could start from front to back, or on given days, it's going to be certain sections or criteria of the big nasty ketter we're dealing with today to make sure we cover the information. Or dealing with some kid. Remember Big Boss? You know, this one over here that's older on the kids? Hey, that's why we're separating that. That would be that note in the differential. You ain't got yours done yet? This is your chance. Remember that incident. You're going to do a full after-action report on that marshmallow, that area of operations, AO. It takes time. It takes time. Like I said, this right here, 1 page a day can grind you out for 90 days. You know, especially I want that on that early run. Hey, you know what my kids do besides make the rock? Inside here, I want all you guys to be motivated like that. I need you to get in here. Fire it up. Get this machine running. Mecha high, mecha low. You know, I'm talking the low man. When I had to take the low man over at Delaware Basin Stone and turn him into a Sawyer, there was a process for it. Which jobs are the same fundamentals I would take and use on the biggest, the baddest of Sawyers in the game. Because in the end of it, it's going to be this. The only way you're going to beat this salt program for the load in and the systems is to be so accurate with every single load every day that you program. And believe me, you don't got time. That you're going to have to X these out in some ways to the lineups, to the systems, to what the cut coefficients are going to be, to the square footage this week, to the max average performance ratings, quarry durability, quantity, quality, safety, of course. You know, I know that this triangle is not new to some of you. And if it is, believe me, hey, maybe I'll be nice to you because you're a marshmallow and you're actually concerned and care, and that little blinkety light's over your head right now. You know what I mean? You got that symbol as a bunny, and hey, Conquest, I feel you. I know how it is. I'm not chasing your Princess Peach, but you know, sometimes it gets in here. You got to be fingering Gunny's wife and keep this stuff going, and it gets old. So with that stuff in mind, it always starts somebody saying the bit on what it is. The mass gap is how you start this. This is the job, the operation, what they are paid to do, because there's a hole. That hole is a contract. That contract needs to be filled. Does it seem like the normal operation? Are they adding developed systems to it? Are you keeping track of those things? Because if you're not going to, you're going to have to ask them to do it. So you're going to have to believe that this information, bang, when you open it up is going to be good.
Your RTO, on the other hand, he or she is writing everything down. They are just scribbling on a blank piece of paper.
You got to get one. It's a cost.
They're getting down every grid.
It's an important one. It's one people forget. And usually what happens is you got to call in the Army after that. Some officer, some Eagle Brigade from OSHA to square away that number. What are they doing wrong over there? Get a guy that's sampled into doing this. Hey, it's going to be harder because we're not graphed yet. That's a cost, damn it. And if you'd factor it here, you wouldn't have to worry about it showing up there. At least you could be sensible about how to break it down from there. How to sensibly understand your timelines. What are the quotes and trajectories thumulistically inside of the system? Thumulistically, just another word for geodesics. See this ROT or RTO? You know what that is? A fucking human! Train it!